Rajivji, Kamal here from MeraSangeet.com and a warm welcome to you on our show once again, Chat and Chat.
Thank you, Kamalji. Pranam.
Pranam Rajivji, कैसे हैं आप?
I'm well. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Rajivji. I saw your tweet earlier today, and so this is about the immigration reform bill. If you would like to comment on that as well.
Um, there are two angles that we need to examine. One is the angle that the Republican Party, which in the House of Representatives has been the roadblock in immigration reform, is right now, they are right now meeting, and their meeting will last till Friday, where they intend to come up with the principles of immigration reform, which we believe will be legal immigration reform, DREAM Act, which is for the young people who are undocumented, some form of relief for undocumented people, and border and interior enforcement. These are typically the agenda items. Second angle we have to look at is the president's speech last night, which is called the State of the Union Address, which is basically the president's summation of almost like a presentation by the chief executive officer of the country to the nation about what the state of affairs of the government and the country is. He unfortunately took only like a second or two to mention immigration. After his speech was over, there were statements. Of course, there is a rebuttal or a counter statement by the other party as well. And there are statements released by John Boehner, who is the guy to watch in this immigration situation. He is the Speaker of the House, and he has a lot to say about what happens next. A general sense I see is, and I tweeted about that. For those of you who want to follow, just go to @immigrationcom. That's our Twitter account. Or you can go to immigration.com and see the tweet on the right hand side. I saw a comment from a senior Republican Party, not senior in years, but senior in terms of ranking, Marco Rubio, who said, well, we can't really do anything because we don't trust this president. And I tweeted, I said, listen, if trust in the president were a precondition to any law being passed, then we would never pass any laws, because people change and presidents change. One president will go and the next one will come. That means we'll never pass any laws. That doesn't make any sense. On top of that, I saw that, and I tweeted again, I said, listen, unless this is theater, people are just, doing their drama, it appears to me that there is a lot of partisanship. Okay, if you are going left, I'm going to go right, whether I believe it in it or not. So there's a lot of opposition, government by opposition or legislation by opposition, rather than by collaboration. That does not look good for immigration. But again, there are indications from the White House. The vice president spoke to it in a couple of newspapers. He said that we'll work with Congress and we'll come up with a reform formula. So we'll see. There is definitely some movement. Whether that movement is going to lead to an actual reform bill being shown or series of bills being shown to us, I do not know. But I am encouraged overall to see that there is some movement. And that's what I had to. That's what I wanted to tell our listeners.
Right. Yeah. Because all the while that we've been talking, you were really hoping that something would work out by the turn of the year. So now with the new year, let's hope things work out.
May, June is what we look at in terms of some action one way or the other. Well, we'll see. Kamalji, why don't you go ahead with your questions?
Yeah, sure. The first question here, Rajivji, is from a listener who says, excuse me. She says, I'm a regular listener on Mera Sangeet, and of course she wanted some counsel from you. So she's written in. There's a lot of details she's furnished, Rajivji. First, she says, I went to India on August 6th, 2013 to attend to my family who had met an accident. And she'd taken family medical care leave. And she's, also sent in the FMCL attached. And then she says that she had booked her return ticket via British Airways on January 28, 2014, and earlier her immigration status was H4, that is from March 2008 to September 2012, and now she's on EB1 green card since October 2012. Now she says immediately after the accident, doctors were not sure how much recovery time would be needed, and they gave me a ballpark estimate of 8 to 10 months estimate, just in case I needed to be in India longer than 6 months. So she says I filed an application for extended stay, and later on my husband received response letter saying that biometrics appointment needed to be scheduled for me. He was at a loss in terms of what action to take, as biometrics appointment was in Phoenix and I was already in India. By this time I talked to the surgeon in India in person, and I could see that quicker recovery for my parents could be there. Recently received a denial letter, I believe due to not appearing for biometrics appointment. Now, her questions are: number one, what action, if any, needs to be taken in the light of this decision letter, I-131 application for travel document, and number two is how should I best prepare for port of entry at Phoenix?
Okay, this is what I understand the situation to be. She's got a green card. She left um, to go to India for a very good reason, which is an illness in the family. And she's been gone more than 6 months, but less than a year. Am I right so far?
Yes,
And she's returning within a year, but over 6 months. Am I right?
right.
Okay. She is not likely to have any problems, even though the fact that she had applied for a re-entry permit and did not go for biometrics. The fact is that she had a very good reason to be gone, and her husband is still in the United States. It is not as though they have moved to India. She will be questioned in all likelihood by Customs and Border Protection at the airport, but she should carry enough documentation showing why she was gone, like medical bills, evidence of hospitalization or doctor's care, maybe a letter from the doctor. But just don't rely upon only a letter from the doctor. Carry all this subjective, strike that, objective evidence, so that the government can see that there was a good reason to be gone. And on top of that, if they want to call her husband at the airport, they can do that because he's still in the United States. And they didn't
Okay.
mention if they have any children or not. But her
No
permanent home is in
mention.
the United States. I think she'll be fine. I don't see any problem.
All right, okay. Moving on now, Rajivji, there's another question from a listener who says, how can I get a social security card?
Social security card is only given if you have one of the two situations. Either you are authorized to work in the United States, or there is a really valid non-work related reason for which you need a social security card. So what those reasons are, you can go to the website of Social Security Administration, and they'll tell you in detail what you need to be able to show in order to get a social security number. So only people with authorization to work normally can get it. There are a few sharp exceptions, very sharply defined exceptions that would apply to somebody wanting a social security number otherwise.
All right. The final question here, Rajivji, is from a listener who says, I wanted to know if I can sponsor for my uncle who is in India and get him over to the United States. He's very old and he doesn't have anyone to look after him. I am a citizen of the United States and have been here for a long period of time.
US laws do not allow um, anybody other than immediate family and parents to be sponsored for green card. For as a petitioner. If you want them to come on a visitor's visa for a brief time, you can try sending them an affidavit of support, but there is no provision in the law for a niece or a nephew applying for an uncle.
Mm-hmm. Right. So these were the queries Rajivji sent in by our listeners on Mira Sangeet this week. Thank you so much once again for being a part of our show.
Always a pleasure and delight. Kavalji, on a quick note, how are you
Right.
enjoying your uh, Twitter journey? I noticed that a couple of days ago you joined Twitter as well.
Well, in fact, Rajivji, I have been on Twitter for some time, but somehow it was just, lying like that, and I hadn't been using it, and I just thought of it all of a sudden, and I thought I might as well start using this medium as well to connect.
Yeah, I saw your tweets. I thought that was a very good idea.
Yes.
Congratulations, you are in the 21st,
Thank
21st century now.
yes, I should have been a little more active, but then I just.
Very good.
Anyway, not too late to start as well.
Very good. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Rajuji.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Every other Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we host free community conference calls. Everybody is welcome to join. Some people post questions ahead of time. You can take membership in our forums. All of the details are there on our website, immigration.com. You can take membership ahead of time, and it's instantaneous. It happens right away. And post your questions beforehand, or you can just log in. The phone number and all are provided: 202-800-8394, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time every other Thursday. We have free apps for both Apple iOS platform for your iPhones and iPads, as well as for Android. Just look for immigration.com, the period dot, and the application should show up.